Where do the Denver Broncos go from here, man? It's been an ugly start to the 2024 season. We are 0-2. We have scored a total of really, 20 points offensively between both games, not including the safeties. It's been bad. And where do we go from here? We're going to talk about it. We're going to shed a little bit of optimism, and we're going to remind everybody to stop acting like the world is over and it's the world's worst organization and everybody and their mom is to blame, because we seem to be forgetting a very, very key fact about this season. We'll get into it, guys. Welcome to the channel. I appreciate y'all tuning in. If it's your first time on the channel, see some other videos, man. If you guys love Denver sports, if you love NFL football, NHL, NBA, and fantasy sports, we got it all here. So go ahead and smash that subscribe button, and be sure to like the video for the algorithm, to help me out. I am on a mission to get to 500 subscribers, and I appreciate your support in advance. All right, guys. We all know it's been an ugly season. We made two videos on it since the last loss at home against the Steelers. Now, where do we go from here? Well, naturally, you're going to think, oh, the only way you can really go is up, right? And that, I always say, be careful what you wish for. It's been a long 9 years here then in Broncos country. So, you never know what can ultimately happen. But if you ask me, I would say it's very simple. It really is. This team needs to just go back to basics. They need to go to day one training camp install. They need to simplify the playbook. They need to simplify the play calls. And most importantly, they need to simplify the personnel, right? At this point, I don't really care. I really don't. I don't care who the running back is. I don't care who the wide receivers on this team are. Now, I have my opinions on who they should be, but I don't care. But choose a group of players and stick with them, and don't try to complicate things so much. Go to your, like I said, your day one install stuff. Watching the Manning cast on Monday Night Football last night, Peyton Manning had talked about it on that last drive going, when Kirk Cousins ultimately went down and won the game for the Falcons. He said, this is your day one install plays. These are what your staple plays that you go to, that you're comfortable running, are going to be open, are going to be able to get you chunk plays. We need to do that. I'd like to see this team have more tempo and allow them to get into a rhythm, right? And like I had said, if that means that the Broncos go empty, four wide receivers, I'm good with that. The only good film that we really had in the last game, the only really good tape, came from times when we spread out the defense and we went empty. So let's do that. Instead of trying to establish the run to open up the pass, why don't we try to establish the passing game so we can ultimately open up some run lanes later on? And if that means that you're going to go, three tight ends and run the ball out of different looks, I'm fine with that too. I don't care what it is, but just simplify it, run those plays, do what it is, and let's have a functioning offense. Let's get these play calls in a very quick manner. I cannot believe that we're even talking about it. It's like Pee-wee stuff. But let's get the play calls in. Let's get to the line of scrimmage with 12, 13, 14 seconds left so that you can use the hard count. You can keep the defense guessing a little bit. Very simple day one install stuff. That's where we go. Now, the Broncos have obviously suffered some injuries already early in the season. And we haven't really been a fortunate fan base, but last year we were definitely fortunate with the injury luck. And, obviously you couldn't assume that it was going to continue. And so, right now it looks like Baron Browning's going to miss some time, multiple weeks. It looks like Mike McGlinchey is probably going to go on IR, so he's going to miss at least 4 games with his MCL injury. And what this says to me is, damn, that sucks. But my God, is it going to be good for us to be able to see some young players, young developmental players, right? Jonah Ellis is going to get more run. Nick Bonito is going to be able to show what he can do and continue in his development. You're probably going to bring up Dondrea Tillman from the practice squad to be able to see what it is that he can do. So it's opening up good opportunities for guys I've been clamoring to be able to see. Alex Polcheski is now going to be at least the presumptive starter at right tackle. Hey, man, I've been high on him. I made videos on him for a long time because I'm really intrigued by what he can do. I loved how many starts he had when he played at Illinois. He was a highly touted undrafted free agent last year. The coaching staff kept talking about how much they liked him. Um, they played him a lot in the preseason, specifically at right tackle. So who knows, man? Maybe this guy's going to be a disaster. Maybe he's going to be good. But what I can tell you is Mike McGlinchey was supposed to be this really good lineman, extremely highly paid, and he was supposed to specialize in run blocking, and he hasn't really done that. So what do we got to lose at this point? So we got some injuries. We got some young guys that are going to be able to play, but that doesn't mean that as a collective unit, we can't do well. Now, if I was to say there is one personnel change I would consider making, doubt the Broncos will do it now. It is still early. But one thing that I would very, very highly consider making is benching Luke Wattenberg, right? But we might not be in the best position to be able to do that because, it's like the O line already suffered an injury on the right tackle. Why are we going to switch up two things? Luke Wattenberg really struggled last game, right? And so I'm not going to sit there and say bench Luke Wattenberg for one game, but being able to play the center position it's extremely important, and nobody really talks about it. To be able to, talk about protections, make sure that everybody's understands who they're going to be blocking, understand, Bo to understand, different blitz package looks and all that good stuff. And if there's not really good communication happening there, then you got to look at being able to say, hey, let's get a veteran player or somebody that has a little bit more experience playing center to come in and be able to help your rookie quarterback out a little bit, because essentially you've got a rookie quarterback paired with a rookie center. So that'd be something that we can consider. But ultimately, guys, where do we go from here is just start putting better film, start building a little bit more confidence with this team. Give Bo Nix a little bit of help with being able to keep everything simple. And I know that it sounds very easy when I say it, but in reality, it kind of is, right? These are professional athletes. They all have things that they know they can do well, and they all have things that they clearly understand that they struggle with. And the coaching staff needs to put them all in a position to be able to do their jobs better, to not be thinking so much when they're out there, so they can just worry about executing and doing what it is that they do. So that's what I got for y'all today, man. I appreciate all the love, but guys, let's not forget, all right? I guess it's not the last thing I have for you. Let's not forget, this team has gone through 8 years of poor management from the front office, the coaching. Obviously, there was no ownership group for the longest time. And in those 8 years, we've made bad financial decisions. We've drafted poorly in many of those years. We've made terrible trades that have led to, us being in bad financial positions like the Rush trade. But in addition to the money part, I think the hardest part to really overcome was all of the draft compensation that we missed out on, right? And we finally had a year this year where we could have an entire draft class. That's 1 year. These guys are just coming in. So there is obviously going to be a lack of talent. There's a lack of continuity across the board, a lack of depth or potential. And so we need to, you know, chill out a little bit on, thinking that this was going to be some sort of an amazing team. This year is and always will be about developing Bo Nix and developing the other young guys on the team. And we'll see what what happens with the other young guys on the team. But what I can assure you is that whatever happens with Bo Nix is going to trump everything else. So we'll see what happens. But let's stay patient with it, guys. There is 15 games left. There's a lot of room and a lot of time left to be able to improve. I'm not even sitting there and saying, let's put together a huge win streak. That'd be great. But we need to just be more competent, and we need to continue to grow and evolve. Because if we finish this season and we're 4-13, or 5-12, or we're 2-15, right? But Bo Nix has shown steady improvement, which if he's shown steady improvement and he shows that he's going to be a franchise guy, we're not going to be 2-15. So, there's always going to be a little bit of correlation. What I'm saying is whatever the record is at the end of the year, if Bo Nix looks very solid and more confident, and he looks like, man, he really does not only belong in this league, but he can be a really good player. This season was a success. If Bo Nix ends up getting benched, right? I'm just giving you a hypothetical. This is probably not realistic. If Bo Nix ends up being benched and we start Zach Wilson or Jarrett Stidham and we end up winning, 6 out of 8 games to finish the season, I don't know, 8-9 again, or 7-10. That's not successful. That's not a successful season because now there's going to be this whole, oh, we can go into next year with, this quarterback and just be able to build the team around, when in reality, we don't really have our franchise quarterback. Now, barring some sort of like crazy ascension from one of these guys, it's just not going to be the case. So that's my Tuesday morning therapy session with y'all. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me know what you guys think. Where's you guys' heads at now that you've given it about 48 hours to settle in? And what are you hoping to see this upcoming week in Tampa Bay against the Bucks? Let me know. We'll have some breakdowns coming on. Till next time, guys. Don't forget to spend time with the people you love most and stick with the Broncos country. All right. As always, go Broncos. And until next time, y'all understand. Peace out.